Good day, Miss Elaine.
Good day.
Welcome to this session today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I have with me today Miss Elaine Chia, CEO of Comexposium Asia Pacific, a key figure of the international business events BE industry, with over 20 years experience in the media profession, overseeing Comexposium operations in the Asia region, with offices stretching across the region, among them from China, India, Singapore, Indonesia, Australia, Japan, and not forgetting Malaysia. Welcome, Ms. Elaine. The business events industry has gone through a challenging and rough experience for the last 3 years. Has this experience affected your decision-making process, and how do you stay motivated in the BE industry?
Thank you for the question. Honestly, the last 3 years, I think across the industry, across all exhibition organizers, we had a very, very tough time. If we look back upon 2020, really it started out as a China issue in the beginning of the first quarter, and then later on it spread across the world. In fact, what was interesting was that we were so worried about China in 2020, but the tide turned and then it became a global issue, and China remained a little bit more safe. Although we had a lot of international exhibition problem, international entry, it was difficult, but China remained well. However, for the other parts of the world, we really suffered. We worked on problems with cash flow. We were really worried about the team's morale. Everything just culminated into a fluster for all of us in the industry. But I think the key learning point I have in the last 3 years is, one, is to stay calm. Do not knee-jerk in any reaction. We have to ensure that we keep our heads on our shoulders, especially as management teams. We have to look after the team's morale. We have to ensure that the people are well looked after, ensuring that when we are able to come back into the operational processes, we should be able to be ready at any point in time and not scramble for new staff and scramble for new plans. So I think these are the few key learning points that I have embraced in the last 3 years.
Can you share with our viewers and readers on your current role and the most exciting part of your work?
Well, I look after the Asia Pacific region for Comexposium, and as you have alluded in the opening, we look after a broad spectrum of markets, and China being a big market for us. Of course, Southeast Asia is a growing and ever building up upcoming market for us. India, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. So these are key markets that I look after. I'm certainly passionate and I love working in the region because it's interesting that the region is very, very diverse. I mean, Asia Pacific is not, I mean, as well as like Europe, it's very, very diverse in the sense that there are many cultures, many different languages, many different dialects, and what's interesting is that the values are different, the way we work is different. So it gives me that kind of passion to really work in the industry with different colleagues with different mindsets. But what's also interesting is that we are able to tap on each other's nuances, tap on each other's learnings and experiences. So I think that's where it really motivates me in terms of working in the industry.
Comexposium, as one of the key event organizers in Asia, what are the top trends in the business events industry in the Asia Pacific region in 2023 and beyond? What will be the main challenges that you foresee in the future, especially in the endemic era?
Well, it's an interesting question. Definitely, I think it's not just in Comexposium, across the exhibition industry, we really believe that, I mean, of course we're not saying that it's online, but obviously over the last 3 years, the hybrid model has come to stay a little bit. Generally, I think in most of our exhibitions, we probably have a portal on conferences online. We may probably be able to do registrations and culminating database that we want to develop. So I think these are things that we have learned over the last 2 to 3 years, and then moving forward, this trend will be here to stay. I think what's also very critically important is that we've also recognized the need for a platform using our database, right? I mean, for a long time, we've always believed that exhibition business is always about the 3 days of trade show. During the 3 days of trade show, what do we do and how do we work with each other during the trade show and the buy and sell during the show? But I think we recognize that it is a 365 days business. We have database that will be able to prolong and value add to our buyers and sellers across the market. So I think in these few years and moving forward, I think it's important that every event organizers understand the strength and the value of their database and how do you use them on a daily basis, right? From a 365 days format and not just that 3 days. Yeah.
How is Comexposium business apportioned geographically, globally, and in which geographical regions in Asia, and perhaps in what sector that you would be looking into expanding in the coming 2 years?
Comexposium is based in Paris. We have a big portfolio globally. A large part of our business is in Europe. We have 3 regions that we work on. The first region is, of course, EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East. Second region is the United States, North America. And the third region is Asia Pacific. So while I look after Asia Pacific, my geographical coverage, as I've spoken before, is largely China. China contributes about, I would say, about 55 to 60% of our revenue today. In my view, I think it is great because in the last few years, China has been riding on the wave of growth with its microeconomics dynamics. But I think in the next few years, we hope to see Southeast Asia building a stronger portfolio for us. I personally feel that there is a lot of room for growth in Southeast Asia. Key of the reason is because, one, Southeast Asia would have a growing middle class population, a very strong middle class demand for consumption goods and consumables. As a result of it, I really believe that products that we will bring in on the next level curve would be related to high-tech consumptions. So, for example, in the case of example, in 2024, we will be bringing a new product into Singapore called the National Retail Federation Big Show. It's actually a show from, we franchised it from American. And we will be delivering the show in July 2024. The show will be largely related to retail, e-commerce, the plethora of retail end-to-end. So I think this kind of products will be very, very well liked in the region, like Southeast Asia, because of the key demand for consumption, e-commerce, online platforms. So these are opportunities that we have. The other thing that we'll also be bringing into Singapore is this year we'll have a product called Vin Expo, which is a high-end wine show. And we believe that in Asia, it is a rising luxury growth market. And we really believe that the Southeast Asians would have the taste for new growth, new wines, new development of new products. So I think these are products that we will bring in as we move on to the next stage of our life cycle of Comexposium in Asia.
Comexposium actually introduced the F&B sector into the Malaysia market, and this has been something that Malaysians like throughout the decades, F&B. Is there any specific reason or factors that Comexposium has actually pushed forward for the F&B sector to be brought into Malaysia?
Yeah. Well, Comexposium has a very strong grounding on the food and beverage sector. A key brand that we have globally is called SIAL, SIAL. It's been around for decades in Paris, and our biggest show is in Paris, which is last year in 2022. We did a net square meters of 150,000. The second show we have is in Xiao, China, and this is also a big show for us. We are covering about 16 halls in Shanghai Pudong, and that's about close to 80,000 net of square meters. So in our perspective, food and beverage is a very key part of the DNA of Comexposium. And having evaluated that, we asked ourselves, where next? We today have SIAL in Jakarta. We have it in India. And we think it's the right time for us to explore other parts of Southeast Asia, as we spoke about the growing middle class consumption market and the high growth in terms of young disposable income. So for us evaluating the Malaysia market, first thing, we feel that Malaysia has a very strong innovation facilities in terms of developing F&B. In fact, this morning we were just talking to a partner about identifying what kind of products we should be able to do more in Malaysia. For example, things like alternative protein, plant-based food and all that. So these really supports the case that Malaysia is a very innovative. They have a lot of quality interest in providing technology, building into F&B. And definitely as Comexposium, being a big part of the food and beverage industry, we really want to support the country, the market, the industry. So this is our job. Our job is not just a trade show organizer. We are here to support industries that we work in. So be it in food and beverage, be it in retail, be it in design, it really depends. We built on a team of people and recognizing the demand of the market. So, and that's the reason why we think that in Malaysia we have that skill set. Comexposium is a skill set. We have a great team of people that will be able to help deliver the quality products into Malaysia and work with the industry partners.
Other than the F&B sectors, are there any plans in the pipeline to bring in more events from other sectors to Malaysia?
Yeah, I think Malaysia is a fantastic market. The support from the government associations, be it MySat, Martrade, they have given us very, very resounding support. In fact, for Food and Drinks Malaysia that we're launching, we've even got strong support from Pharma and Ministry of Agriculture. I think this really bodes well for the fact that the government advocacy in this country is strong, and as a result of it, certainly I think if there is opportunity provides, we will want to do more projects in Malaysia, and it really depends on the trend of the consumers, the trend of the market, and then of course the macro dynamics of the country, the macroeconomics. What exactly does the government want to grow, incentivize, and that's where we will want to be.
In celebrating women's achievement, what does International Women's Day theme Embrace Equity means to you?
I don't know. I mean, I find that the word embrace equity, it really means that we recognize people or women, I mean in this case, for their contributions, and of course along with the contributions that they make, we have to compensate them equitably. So it should be a case of not just about embracing diversification, but really embracing contributions by people.
In a management position, how have you found it best to promote and nurture women's careers?
It's actually interesting. Every time we speak about this as a woman in the industry, we always ask ourselves why we pick out the word woman, right? Actually, in my view, as a leader, I've never really seen people as men or women in a job. I guess it's really about equal opportunities, about not discriminating when they need to spend some time with their family. I think it's really about trust in a network and about mentorship, how we can help each other to do the best in our jobs. So whether it's a woman or a man, I think it's also young men also needs that support, because with the growing family and all that stuff, they need the support. Equally, women that who needs help at home, we also as a management team and actually as employers, we do need to identify the fact that there are only so much resources we can get in the market, and therefore everyone is important to us. So I think it's supporting them in terms of trust, and supporting them in terms of macro management, not micromanagement, supporting them in being able to understand that they can deliver a long set of KPIs that we have given to them, and they're able to deliver it properly. So I think to me that is actually what's important in nurturing a strong team.
In your opinion, what is the biggest obstacle to women's career progression in the Asia region?
Not so much an obstacle, but I think it's important that your family is supportive, all right? To be able to have a family that helps you to build your career. They're able to help you, to support you in terms of looking after the children, all that. So I think that is actually a big part of a success of a woman. Without that family backing, your parents, your spouse, I think it's very difficult to build a strong career.
What would be your aspiration for 2023, and what would you be looking forward to, and perhaps to share your personal vision on the BE industry?
I won't say so much as an aspiration or a personal vision. I'm not so much as big as that, but I think the simple wish is that we hope that this pandemic never happens again to us. That's number one. Number two is that definitely we are hearing about recession looming ahead. Definitely we are worried about the US-China tension. We are definitely worried about the Ukraine wars that's ongoing and how it's going to develop and pan out in the next few years. That will affect all our businesses, especially in the trade business, right? So in my perspective, I think the key important to us is now hoping, my aspiration is a hope that these things pans out well, positively for all of us, and the recession is not as bad as we think it's going to come. And of course, while we are in the process of it, cash flow is important to all of us in the company. How do we ensure savings? How do we ensure stronger profit margins? So these are things that I think key to the development of our businesses. We have to go back to the principle of building a business, right? About quality products, quality content, and really ensuring that we do well in what we do.
Finally, as we come to an end for this session, would you like to have a few words to welcome everyone to the Food and Drinks Malaysia by SEL in July 2023? And what could we be looking forward to?
We are very excited to bring the latest edition of the SEL network product into Malaysia, Food and Drinks Malaysia. It will be taking place from 4th to 6th July 2023 at the MyTech, and we have a team of very strong colleagues that's working on it with lots of experience, and we hope that we will be able to bring quality content to the show. We will be able to bring innovative F&B products into the Malaysia market, and it's more importantly to be able to bring up the Malaysia food and beverage industry to a different height with the values that SEL can bring to us.
Thank you very much, Ms. Elaine, for your insightful thoughts.
Thank you so
and
much.
Your views and opinions for our viewers and readers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elaine, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.